Whenever we are trying to design a system that represents the custody and exchange of goods, we find many combinations of possible owners, underlying processes, and ever-changing regulations by industry and type of asset. We have set up systems to guarantee our assets will not be taken away without our consent. But there is a trend to make all exchanges more fluid, even for high-value items. That requirement transcends and gets to the technology that supports these processes. On one side, we have the new coming public ledgers, full access, decentralized control, and on the other, you have a consortium form with close oversight over assets, with tight control regarding security and information sharing. Our system allows to integrate the advances of open public ownership and identification using cryptography, mapping real-world workflows suited for the enterprise applications, public and private ledgers coexisting. We have the representation of a participant that wants to do some transaction, say a purchase or a sale, with another party using a settlement company that is responsible to keep track of asset ownership in the real world. The participant is going to sign a transaction and then put them into a vehicle. That vehicle is going to get to the keeper's node. Keeper identifies and verifies the transaction and certifies the participant's registry. And then, if everything is correct, it allows to pass and visit the notary to execute the transaction. It also adds a certificate to grant movement of the car inside the private network. Finally, when reaching the notary, the instruction is executed. The route can be a 1, 2, or 3 stop path that requires or not a final stop with the notary. Now, each time the car passes through a peer, it issues or collects a token that keeps track of the status of the car inside that private network. But what is in the trunk is up to us. The stops that we design, the flows that we put together. We could also have a stop that links to any other authorization, even human, or integration with other networks that are slower and without the same finality assurances. Then we can wait longer until we make sure that all the process goes through before going to the notary and release ownership of the asset. As you can imagine, the possibilities of these tools are endless. First, you have the individuals, the enterprise applications, the devices that are going to sign these transactions. Second, we use the Polkadot extension as a wallet to keep custody of the keys and grant access to multiple networks at the same time. Then we use Hedera Hashgraph as a transaction carrier of the payload, and also to manage the single signatures or the multi-signature accounts. Corda is the one that initiates the transactions and the workflow logic, and also provides any other peer that may or may not be part of the workflow. It also issues certificates and validates the accounts inside the system are valid. Last, Hedera provides the status of the workflow, a public perspective of private workflows or tokens. All right, let's see a simple demo of how this works. In this demo, I am part of the Corda network, and I will be transferring tokens to another participant. We have one central bank and 2 commercial banks. Now, in this case, I'm going to be transferring Corda tokens following the UTXO model. Since the flow is marked for finalization, the notary reads the transaction and triggers movements to the Hedera network. So let's do that. Let's move from this to our counterparty. Let's move 250,000 euros. And as that, the transaction went through and the counterparty received the movement. And what you see now is now have 250, and now Hedera via Dragonglass reported that movement as well. So the other bank now has updated the balance and see the update on the Corda information, on the Hedera information, and at the same time the central bank sees the update of the figures. All right, so this gives, of course, visibility to the other banks and visibility of the liquidity of the counterparty banks using the Hedera system. Now, the other thing that is worth looking at here is the management of accounts. So what we have here is two accounts. Both of them are open with the same holder. One of them was issued by us. That's why it has a Hedera account and I can share. And also there's the same user has another account with the Banco Monte dei Paschi, but and I have traded with this account. That means that that account was shared from this counterparty bank with us, and that's why I have it in my books. Now, for that account, I don't have all the details. I don't have the account in Hedera that triggered the transaction, nor any personal information or email or anything of that sort. That belongs to this second bank. So let's take a look here. In this bank, I have the information and the Hedera account that belongs to this, but I don't have the second account because this other bank, the Medici Bank, has not shared the information with us. And in the same way, this particular customer also has an account with the central bank. Now, it could be a government agency. This government agency has an account with the central bank, but has not been shared with anybody else. That's it. We have put together an extended demo version, and that is going to be in the link under the comments. Last, where are we? We released version 1 in 2020, and the next step is to incorporate these developments in a version number 2. If you want to get in touch, this is my contact information. The future will be tokenized.